It is finally time to get this thing painted officially. We're gonna get this thing loaded up tonight, hit the road early tomorrow morning, and drop this thing off in LA, about 4 hours from us, at right around 10:30, 11 a.m. tomorrow. I picked up this car the very end of October last year. We're like less than 2 months out from it being 1 year since I took delivery of this thing. And there have been countless hours poured into this project. But today is the day this stops feeling like a project. It's gonna feel like a real car, because it's never felt like a real car to this point. It's just something I'm just so excited for, seeing the car for the first time. Like the grand reveal when we go back down to the paint shop to pick it up. It's a moment I have been waiting for so long. Countless dollars spent, countless hours spent, just hoping this thing would even run, hoping this thing would even turn out well in the end. And it looks like this thing mechanically is all right. So yeah, I think I'm gonna fire it up one last time, do maybe once around the block, just to see if any of the code's clear that I'm not being able to clear, just sitting in the driveway stationary. And then we'll just load it on the trailer when my dad gets here. And then tomorrow morning, we're gonna take off at like 5, 6 a.m. or something to get down there by 10. I'm excited. Let's get to it. So my dad came over the night before the trip to help me load the car, and sure, the car still has some things to work out, but there's not a ton I can do at this stage with the car completely stripped down from paint and a lot of modules disconnected. Sean from McMedic said that McLarens in particular rely on all the systems working together, and in this car, half the electronics are offline until it's painted and put back together. Ever since I disassembled the entire freaking car for paint, it just doesn't, things are just weird. The easiest way to mechanically sort this thing is just to have the stupid thing painted so I can put it fully back together. So we hit the road early that morning for hopefully the last trip down to LA on this project. Something about these early morning adventures with my dad I've kind of missed. It throws me back to the old days when life was a lot simpler. So we made it to the halfway point, and if you're in California, you probably know this spot really well. This is the Tejon Outlets at the base of the Grapevine, and a natural stopping point for travelers coming and going from Southern California to Central California. I remember this place when it was just 2 gas stations and an In-N-Out burger. Anyway, at this point in the journey, I couldn't help but wonder if I was making the right decision. I was putting my trust again in a paint shop that hit me up on Instagram, and even though their shop had good reviews and a good Instagram following, it was really hard for me to be 100% sure they could do it fast, cheap, and good, like they said they could. All 3 of those usually don't go together. We finally made it down there to IRWINDALE Collision Center to drop the car off for a week and a half.
Yeah, stop. I'll check the other side.
I didn't know it for sure at the time, but this indeed was the final resting place of the unpainted McLaren. Next time I'd see it, my jaw would be hitting the floor. After meeting the guys there, the trip back home felt like a weight had lifted off me. If this paint shop could follow through on their word, it takes the entire headache of paint out of the equation to finish this car up. So let's talk about the McLaren paint job. I said, and I was planning to do it myself because there's nobody willing to give me like a decent price for like a paint job on a McLaren. It's really complicated to explain to shops that I'm trying to get quotes from that this is a YouTube project, and I know you're seeing a McLaren through your screen right now that I'm showing you. We're on a Honda Civic budget with this thing. I don't need you to make this a show car or anything. So any professional shop I'm hitting up isn't really, it's not that they don't understand it, they're just tacking on a zero because it's a McLaren. And because that's the case, and that's what I was kind of running into, the wall I was hitting with the paint job and everything, it just wasn't a very viable option to send it to a shop to get painted. The first guy was gonna give me a good deal and said he could knock it out in 2 weeks. You guys know how that turned out. The second shop is doing it for the same price as the first guy was gonna do, but they say they can do it in a week, and they actually have good reviews on Google, and they also have a social media presence as well, so I can like look at their work and stuff. That's the thing that the first paint guy lacked, was I couldn't actually see like good examples of his work. This shop's giving me a great deal, and I can see how good of work that they do, and it's pretty dang good. I am looking at pictures of the paint on the panels right now. They even painted the hood when I said, look, I just want like a freaking quick, easy paint job. Just mask it off and just spray the paint. Like, it doesn't need to be great. I already know at this point that it's not gonna be perfect anyway. The car is like a twice salvage, cheapest McLaren ever freaking crashed and bought. But they are legit turning this thing into a show car as we're speaking right now. In the next few hours, I knew I would never see this car the same way again. It was this trip that all the memories of the project started running through my head. We stopped for fuel and hit the road again, and I truly couldn't get down there fast enough. Taking delivery, the first start, all the hours spent stripping the damage, building the front end back out, receiving the Chinese body kit, repairing the wiring harness, cooling system, hydraulic system, the first drive, everything. This car is going to be a real car the next time I see it. We just made it.
Yep.
Are you ready to see this thing?
Yeah.
I've already seen a picture of it.
I'm anticipating, oh wow. Even from the back, it looks so much better.
Whew. Look at this. Look at this. It's a real car, everybody. It's so cool.
When I look at something for the first time, I can't see it the right way. You know, I don't see it. When I see it 2 days from now, it'll look even better.
It's a fantastic color. They did a great job. All right, well, what do you say we just get it loaded up and get this thing home?
All right. Okay, let me get off these ramps. I can take us to a safer place to do this.
So we got the car loaded up for hopefully the last time ever needing a tow. The body panels were only loosely attached, so we had to fortify everything a bit, and we had to mount the bumper again, but we soon got on the road for home one last time. Last time we brought it down to LA was earlier this year when Sean from McMedics helped get the electronics straightened out, and Will, the owner of WR Technica, the shop we were working at, took a look at the car and invited me personally for a track day when it's finished. Countless others who have laid hands on this car and checked it out in person, I couldn't help but wonder, what would they all think if they could see the car right now? It feels so fulfilling knowing that this car finally looks as good as it's worth and will get completed with the care that a car like this deserves. But to do it.
Keep going, you're doing good.
So we'll talk about the paint shop and what the actual process was like getting this thing actually painted. But first I want to do something I've been wanting to do for a long time, is actually take the rest of the PPF off of this car. First impression, a lot of you guys might think taking the PPF off is kind of pointless if it's not damaged, but it's old PPF. There's just really no way around that. It is kind of yellowing out, so it's kind of shifting the color from what it actually should be. And plus, a lot of the PPF is actually damaged. There's like scrapes on this thing, probably from the accident, and the vent luckily had PPF on it, or else this carbon fiber would actually be damaged right now. But we can just pull all that damage right off. And after we do that, I'm gonna turn the car around and I'm actually gonna try to lower it down. When I was taking it off the trailer down there, trying to pull it into the paint shop and everything, I activated the front end lift. On the 650S, there's a stalk that you actually hold up, and then it just lifts the car up, and then you push it back down to lower the car back down. So I tried the front end lift, and it didn't actually tell me if it worked or not because I had the low oil pressure warning on that screen the entire time. With the oil pressure warning, you literally can't access the screen. It's just that one screen and you can't click it off or anything. But it looks like it worked. I mean, the wheel gaps are super high now, which means the hydraulic system is in fact working and all the controls and everything are working, which is a great sign, but it also made it look kind of funky, you know, getting all these shots of it. Let's get to taking this PPF off and then we'll flip the car around and we'll talk a little bit more. Let's do it. We will start off with the easy to access areas, and hopefully this just kind of peels right off. Hopefully it's not old enough to where it actually kind of flakes and chips. So satisfying. I can feel, it's just night and day texture difference. I'm gonna put the microphone here. Listen to this texture difference. You can't even hear it. Like the paint is very smooth underneath, but you can tell this PPF definitely yellowing. Put it against the little black spot there, definitely yellowing. So this is gonna be a very satisfying process for me, but it's just bringing such a deeper color out. All these panels have been dirty and scratched up, banged up for the entire process of rebuilding this car, and it's all just coming off. It feels like a new car again. Incredible. So this is how I've been seeing it this whole time right here. And this is how it looks underneath. Just look at that. That paint looks brand new. So I'm gonna end the night off by doing this vent. This is going to be the biggest transformation on the entire PPF removal process. You guys can just see how absolutely faded and worn. I don't know how it got that way, but hopefully it's flawless carbon fiber underneath. Let's find out. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. This PPF absolutely saved that piece of carbon fiber. That is incredible. And no scrapes. Very nice. Let's get this thing flipped around. All right. Okay, I'm gonna see if the lift works. Holding it down. It's working. I can see it lowering. That is awesome. Woo-hoo-hoo. And there, I think it's as low as it's gonna get. Dude, no way. This car is absolutely beautiful. Wow. That color combination is just fantastic. And now that the car's lowered down again, it looks so much better. Wow, I can't believe this thing is mine. That is insane. Here it is. What a journey to get it here. You guys cannot imagine what I'm feeling just looking at it right here as it sits. Freaking crazy. So I know it looks incredible just as it sits here, but let's go over some of the things you guys might be missing, you know, remembering how damaged this thing was before it went to the paint shop and what things they actually repaired that I didn't even necessarily tell them or ask them to repair. Well, first let's talk about paint match. It's pretty dang near close. Like if I walked around the car like this, you guys would never know that the front was slightly different than the back. You guys can see here, you would never know that the OEM color was any different than this color. But this paint is a little tiny bit darker. In my opinion, looks better than the OEM paint in the rear. It just looks absolutely incredible. But they did an incredible job actually blending into the door and everything, and you would never even know it was painted really unless I told you. Another thing you probably didn't remember is this side in the door, there's a fat hole in the fiberglass right there. Like you would never know there was a big hole in this door unless you knew. They did a great job just fixing that for me, no questions asked. And then over on this side, they actually sanded this whole quarter panel down and they kind of sprayed and blended into it. It looks incredible. They did a fantastic job. And they literally stripped this all down and repainted that one spot so there wasn't a tiny little hairline crack right here, which didn't bother me that much. And I told them that, like, if you guys don't want to burn too much time on this project, don't worry about fixing the small stuff like that, because that doesn't bother me at all. But they did anyway. And then this whole driver door had to get sanded down and there was some cracking in it from the accident. So they actually re-fiberglassed a lot of this, body filler, all the whatever they do. And it looks like it was never damaged. They did a fantastic job. And even on camera, you guys can tell just how incredibly smooth that is. And let's talk about the hood. I literally told them, don't worry about the hood because it's gonna get carbon fiber wrapped anyway. It's a quick, easy way to just make that hood work and everything. And he was like, let's just do the hood because it's gonna look a whole lot better. So anyway, all the way around, very satisfied, very, very satisfied. And it just looks incredible. Very well done. They did a great job masking everything off, and all the joints where the bumper meets, everything, they masked off so well. And they clearly just went above and beyond on this. Really good work. So obviously the main question here is who did the paint and how much did they charge me? I'm not big enough yet to where people just give me free paint jobs for publicity. You guys may remember end of last video, I basically said, if you own a shop or you know a shop who can mix the paint for me, I'm gonna just spray it down myself. It's the most cost effective, and I don't want to sit at another paint shop for 2 months and still not get done for some reason. But somebody who was following this build from the start actually owns a paint shop, and he DM'd me, and he ended up matching the deal that I had with the first guy, which was roughly $2,000. And then I just throw in some goodies on top that isn't actual cash. I was really trying to save cash up front here, but I wanted it also to be fair for them, so they'd make some money cash on it, plus some other things that they valued. Also, just to get this out of the way, I say this because I wanted to kind of just disclose everything and be upfront and honest with you guys with this whole project. I don't know if they were hooking me up hard or not. Maybe that was their normal price, I have no idea. But he was also a guy who knew the value of having good social presence and stuff. They went so far above and beyond, I am just speechless. I literally paid for this paint job, I delivered it, I did all the hard work on it, so please trust me when I say I'm not sponsored by them at all in any way, shape, or form, but they did such a good job on this. IRWINDALE Collision Center. I hit up so many other shops because they saw a McLaren through their screen. They were just tacking zeros on at the end just because it's McLaren. And the guy at IRWINDALE Collision Center, he knew exactly what he was dealing with. I told him this is like low budget stuff. I need a fast turnaround if I'm even gonna let you guys take it, because I need to get this done after 2 months of sitting at a different paint shop. He knew the assignment, like he read the situation, and they just knocked it out of the park. And guess what? They did it in 1 week. Can you believe that? The other paint guy had sat at his shop for 2 months and he didn't even touch it. These guys literally did this whole thing in 1 week. And the dude I was talking to was so responsive. He responded immediately to every message I sent. It was pretty awesome. So ends the saga of paint, finally. And we're finally on to actually reassembling this thing. Hopefully in the next week or two, I have this thing 100% put back together, and we're just figuring out the main faults on it, the last of the smoking issue, and then we're getting it on the road right after that. Seeing this car behind me, I could not be any more excited to actually have this thing on the road and actually be driving it without 110 faults on it illegally. I'm very excited. Make sure to smash that like button before you guys head out. I'll catch you guys next time.